I wanted to just disconnect. I was so busy at work and I wanted to get rid of my phone.
I've been kind of over-consuming current events and news coverage, and I was starting to feel a lot of kind of emotional and mental burnout and stress. Alhamdulillah, I always feel rejuvenated mentally, physically, and spiritually when I go out on these kind of treks, and especially with lovely company, alhamdulillah. That makes a big difference.
I had heard about the Lost Coast from somebody at work, and like just the name itself, right? It sounds so like mysterious, right? And it's like, I gotta check that place out. And I'm somebody, you know, I feel like I've checked out almost everywhere in California, you know?
I mean, there were a lot of draws. I, was interested in doing kind of a more intense backpacking trip, which I now have, alhamdulillah. D&T delivered for sure.
To me, the coolest thing about this part of the trail is that so few people actually do hike all the way through. You know, we parked our cars at the end, at the north terminus here, talked to the ranger, and he's like, yeah, I've seen one person come through so far that started at the south and made it all the way through in the entire month of May. And so, that just shows you how special it is to be able to experience, this untouched, unspoiled nature.
The experience it's more stunning than I ever could imagine. It's just the scenery, it changes from rainforest to mountains to ocean. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we got a good start this morning and, made it maybe like quarter mile up the trail, and then we're coming around a bend, very narrow, steep trail, and all of a sudden this massive, 1,000-pound bull elk just standing in the trail looking at us, right? I was like, all right, there's nowhere for us to go around. He's staring at us and, there's only two ways for him to go, down the trail or charging at us. So we were kind of just, hostage there for a bit. And, eventually we're able to get him to kind of go mosey on a little bit. And we had to make miles. And so, we decided, okay, well, there's not really going to be a better time than this, and we got to get through here. So we kind of bunched together as best as we could and try to just get around him fast. Alhamdulillah, man, we were able to get around, take our time when we could, and didn't spook him too much.
I didn't expect the condition of the trail to be so eroded in many places. The trees across the trails, or sometimes a bit much. But even though, it just takes a little extra time. And so, and everybody was very patient with even the slow ones, so yeah, I appreciate that.
I was not expecting in some parts of the trail, it was like overgrown, so we had to kind of figure out where the trail went. We had someone in front of us with a machete cutting through the rainforest, so that was kind of interesting and fun. It was a new experience for me. The trail is tougher than I expected, but we got through it as a group. It was a lot more elevation gain, and going down was a little bit trickier than I expected, but luckily it was amazing how everyone kind of stuck together as a group and we helped each other out.
I think we were very eager to embrace this culture because it was Muslim-oriented. From the very beginning, I felt like everyone understood the guidelines in Islam, especially when dealing in co-ed situations. It releases a little bit of tension and worry.
Just being able to kind of have a common appreciation, like a shared appreciation of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you're surrounded by it, just that cohesiveness, I think that all of us being Muslim provides, and all of us actively seeking, inshallah, to be closer to Him, it makes, to me, an immense difference.
I definitely got what I wanted out of this trip and even more, and I'm sad. I'm sad to see the trip end. At the same time, I'm excited to go home and rest in my bed, take a shower. So it's kind of like mixed feelings, but definitely I'm going to miss the group, I'm going to miss the scenery.
I think I'm always a little sad when these end, but then you look forward to the next one. So I think that's what I try to focus on. I mean, that being said, of course, there are some luxuries that I do look forward to getting back to. My espresso.
Things have to have a beginning and an ending, but I think to really put forth the effort to continue that, the friendships and continue getting together, I think is a more important thing.
Well, the best time of the trip was actually me spending time with my buddy Luke. That was by far the best part of the trip. I still remember the story when we were all hiking and there was like a cutout of the trail, and Luke single-handedly just like went across, took each backpack with one hand, and just basically like, and then carried me across the gulch. So that was the best part. Luke, you said to give me $20 for saying that, so.
Did you turn the camera off?